I am so sorry, man. I didn't really think the headbutt thing through.
Please, don't worry about it. Before I rest, my heart aches for one last request. Would you, with your evident compassion and strength, be the guardian my children need? Please, I must know that they are loved and cared for.
Ah, man. Yeah, you have my word. Anything.
Bless your kind soul.
Foster care will sort them out. Enemy log, bestiary, monster manual, creature codex, whatever. For games, it's basically an encyclopedia about bad guys, usually tucked somewhere within a menu, but not always. It's a collective list of all of the enemies you've encountered over the course of your playthrough, and its primary purpose is to provide players with a comprehensive resource for learning more about them. It helps players strategize by providing insight into what your opponent is capable of, fosters immersion through lore and background text, and adds a sense of completionism for people who just want to see everything enemy related in one singular space. And I gotta admit, I love this shit. I really love it. I have so many memories of me just flipping through all kinds of these things. I was the type of kid to go on like the Super Mario Wiki and open a million tabs of all the different kinds of Goombas. You have no idea. Wait, there's a Dark Goomba? I'm a very nostalgic person, and enemy logs provide the perfect opportunity to reflect. So let's do that. You and me, let's reflect on the various kinds of enemy logs in games and figure out why they are important. And how do certain games get really creative with them? So what actually goes in an enemy log? First things first, what every good enemy log should have is a visual, something immediately recognizable. Already this is the perfect opportunity to really get a player's attention, and Okami is the perfect example of just that. Okami tells the tale of Amaterasu, the Shinto goddess of the sun, on her quest to purge the world from evil. Okami fuses its Japanese folklore and mythology inspirations with a super clean, cel-shaded watercolor art style, whilst simultaneously incorporating sumie, a traditional Japanese ink illustration technique. Every aspect, including the large cast of enemies and the subsequent bestiary, are crafted with these things in mind. It's a visual delight. But Okami takes this one step further with its enemy logs. Instead of simple, individual pages and some kind of menu for each and every single foe, Okami presents its bestiary with a single scroll. The intention, of course, is to replicate that graceful fluidity found in traditional Japanese scrolls, and the art here is just so fucking good. Like, look at how hard some of these go. It's nuts. This method not only boasts how amazing the artists for this game are, but also offers players an aesthetically satisfying and super smooth way to delve into the game's wide variety of bosses and enemies. It's enchanting, I guess is the best word for it. But it wouldn't be an enemy log if there wasn't some kind of description or additional text. Otherwise, it's just an art gallery. Now, the description's main purpose usually is to give whatever you're looking at some lore. Pokemon's Pokedex is famous for all the crazy ass entries it's got. Oh, this little water spider is kinda cute. Araquanid. What's it do? Oh, it likes to headbutt other Pokemon, trap them in its face bubble, and fucking drown them. Cool. But some games take this storytelling aspect even further and transform it into some genuine world building. See, a lot of enemy log descriptions are written by some kind of faceless narrator. You're not supposed to think about it too much. But some games make this narrator an actual in-universe character. Let's look at how Kingdom Hearts and Hollow Knight do that. In Kingdom Hearts, you have Jiminy Cricket, a seemingly omnipotent and always present being that somehow experiences everything Sora, Donald, and Goofy experience. Jiminy's journal is meant to serve as a reflection of his thoughts and observations about the various characters and events of the series, including all of the Heartless and Nobodies and fucking Brooms, or at least it's supposed to. His journal is desperately missing his individual viewpoints. It kind of starts to fall into the faceless narrator territory, even though his face is fucking right there. I see you, prick. But his journal does play a major role in the story of Kingdom Hearts Recoded, and without spoiling too much, some of the enemies from the previous games actually manifest through their entries from Jiminy's journal, so that's actually pretty cool. But then in Hollow Knight, you have the Hunter's Journal that's given to you by this dude. Now, I love Hollow Knight, and its journal is probably one of my favorites in all of gaming, easily. Hollow Knight can feel like a very lonely game at times, and with a lack of intelligible contact with a lot of these NPCs, you kind of start to believe that you're the only one seeing what you see, which is why it's then really fascinating when you find out that there are other NPCs in this world who either share opinions with or possess different opinions than you. There's two little descriptions for every enemy in the Hunter's Journal, a more general one that simply describes what they are and what they do, and then the Hunter's thoughts and advice for each one, like how he thinks life seeds are delicious and how he wonders whether or not his own insides would taste good. Very insightful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Hunter. You can sit back down now, please. I just love some of these little anecdotes and reflections he shares, like how he's been tempted by the same plague that's been infecting everything around you, but his will is just too strong, how he's felt that primal instinct to breed and leave behind life, and how he thinks these guys are just the funniest shit in the world. If you really dig through it, he's surprisingly analytical and introspective. Reading his entries really gives you a rare and unique glimpse into his way of thinking, and some of these entries aren't even by him. For the warrior dreams, you get a little excerpt from each one, further fleshing out their character, and for the grim troop, you get a little foreboding jingle that perfectly matches their dark circus vibe. It's so good. The Hunter's Journal is just so good, man. And like I said, the Hunter can give you advice on how to beat each enemy, so yeah, enemy logs can serve another purpose besides just being something cool to look at or read. It can serve a more practical purpose, the most noticeable of which would be detailing statistics, weaknesses, attack behaviors, and suggestions for better dealing with your opponent. Like the original Devil May Cry gives you advanced tips the more you observe, counteract, and fight certain enemies. In Persona, capturing personas, who then go into your compendium, will tell you what they're weak to and how you can adjust your team to be better effective against them. If you work in Excel and are bored with your data entry job, then a lot of games have more advanced details like numbers. So we know what an enemy log entails, that's cool, but how can we go about completing one? Well, if we simplify things, it really boils down to two ways: automatically and manually. Automatically is just as it sounds. As soon as you encounter an enemy, they automatically go straight to the log. There's not much else to it, it's pretty straightforward. I guess sometimes you can unlock additional stuff for the entry by just seeing or beating more enemies, but no, yeah, that's definitely not a bad thing. If it works, it works, but by playing a more active role in manually filling out enemy logs, that's when things can get a bit more dynamic. A lot of RPGs try to involve you more by featuring a scanning ability that provides in-depth combat details while in the middle of combat. This includes information such as health, defense, attack, weaknesses, essentially all the stats that would typically be found in a more detailed enemy log, just in a live setting. One example is Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, where this feature is introduced through your first companion, Goombella. With Goombella's assistance, you receive both the attack and health of each enemy, along with her own little quips, again adding depth to her character. You also get tips on how to deal with certain enemies, which is really useful for when you're first seeing them and have no idea what they do. There's a relatively easy action command where you stop a marker in the middle of a circle at the right time. This gently nudges you into filling out the title log, that's what it's called, yourself, and not just because the game did it for you. It encourages you to interact with and purposefully learn more about your enemies and adds a touch of personal involvement. Both Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom feature a compendium that also serves as an enemy log. By taking photos, the enemy is added to the compendium along with any useful information about them. The images you take yourself can serve as visual reminders of your own adventure. You can look back at them and reminisce. It becomes a way to preserve and relive your in-game memories. And aren't our memories also something we kind of sort of cherish? I really do think that being able to retain them like that is something actually pretty beautiful. While we're on the topic of Zelda though, let's talk about Minish Cap's enemy logs. In Minish Cap, you find the sick freak making figurines of enemies, but also of people and their homes, most likely without their consent, and of schools? Uh-oh. You're supposed to offer up a certain amount of mysterious shells, a kind of currency you find throughout the game, to increase your chances of getting a random figurine from this gacha machine. You bet, you pull, you get a figurine. If done right, this could have been kinda neat, but no. Essentially, luck plus grind plus mindless pulling plus eventual disappointment makes collecting all of the figurines and getting all of these entries a complete slog. They're cool, but they're not that cool. And that's when we get into making filling out enemy logs kind of more of a collectathon. The idea of turning the entries into something that's a bit more tangible and collectible is a fun one, and it could encourage the player to venture out and explore the game world even more. Anything collectible also demands a satisfying incentive, otherwise you're just doing hard work for nothing. Collecting isn't just about the experience, feeling rewarded for sinking time into something is essential. The allure of all of this usually comes in the form of an achievement or secret item, or anticlimactically a super basic good job stamp. In Super Paper Mario, collecting catch cards gives you a small attack boost against those enemies, and in Pokemon, if you fill out the full regional Pokédex, you get a shiny charm, making it easier to find or breed shiny Pokemon depending on the game. Enhancements to the actual moment-to-moment gameplay through rewards from filling out enemy logs are definitely welcomed, and serve as strong motivation for players to fully explore all aspects of a game. Enemy logs and everything else related are, at the end of the day, really just invitations for knowledge expertly disguised as something more interactive. It's super surprising and fascinating to me just how many games have creatively embraced them. Exploration driven by a player's own curiosity not only enhances the feeling of a game's overall experience, but also encourages a more immersive understanding of a game's universe, turning every engagement into an opportunity for discovery and growth. For enemy design enthusiasts like myself, who've spent countless hours just delving into as much of the shit as possible, enemy logs are genuinely a really amazing source of information, and I am truly grateful for that.